Chatting. Oh, it's really 6:05. That clock's 5 minutes slow.
Oh, okay, wow. Good evening. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. So this is, it's, that clock up there says 6, but according to a cell phone here, it's 6:05. So my apologies if we didn't start on time. This is a special meeting for Tuesday, April 25th for a budget public hearing. And Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
I will. Tim Hale.
Here.
Stephanie Nowers.
Here.
Dee McKee. Robert Yunt.
Here.
Moki Chu.
Here.
Dimitri Fonoff.
Here.
And Madam Mayor, Assemblymember Bernier is running a little late.
Okay, thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is approved as presented. If you'll all stand, please, and I've asked former Mayor Byrne to lead us in the pledge. The flag is behind you.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, that's wrong.
The next item on our agenda is audience participation. We do have a sign-up sheet, but even if you didn't sign in, we will take and give you an opportunity to present and testify before the assembly. So, how do I pronounce your name, Mrs. Kelly? Oh, wow, I didn't think that. Okay, all right. Sorry, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the Assembly. Last Tuesday, I showed up to the Assembly meeting in solidarity with the Willow community. I'm not comfortable standing in front of an audience and speaking, but I feel that I need to do that for all of us in Willow. I am a lifelong resident of Alaska, born and raised. My parents acquired our property on Lynn Lake in 1957, and we have been fortunate enough to be able to enjoy it all these years, and we are hoping we can pass it down to our family as our legacy. The 5th generation in our family will be 1 year old in June. Over the years, after my father died, my mother willed our property to me and my siblings. It has been a lifelong dream to build up here, and after I retired, we built a home with the idea of always having an oasis for our family to enjoy. We are on the north shore of Lynn Lake, and our primary view is of the lake and the big, beautiful Abbey Hill with its robust greenery. Something I'm sure is very desirable as well for the loggers, and less than a mile away off the Parks Highway. We don't want Willow to end up like some less desirable areas in the Mat-Su Borough. The Willow community is vibrant and an attractive destination for single-family homes for retirees and young families alike. As a retired state certified residential real estate appraiser, I can tell you that this will be, in fact, lower the value of the real estate in the marketplace and also in the surrounding areas of Willow, with Nancy Lake just across the street. I understand that Robert's rules states that at the very next meeting, and only the very next meeting after a decision is made, there is an opportunity to change the decision. I would like you to reconsider your decision to clear cut Abbey Hill for firewood. The dangerous precedent is the changes this would make to the beautiful community of Willow and begin the process of another not so desirable community in the Matsu Borough that was not well thought out. Because of this, it's not as desirable in the marketplace, and the market will definitely dictate the downward adjustment to the real estate values. Willow is one of the best kept secrets in the Matsu Borough, and we in Willow are very proud of our community. Please give the Willow community some say in how they want to be profiled. I ask that the decision on RS 23-041 relating to the Long Lake Road timber harvest be reconsidered. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. David?
I'm David Kelly, another lifetime resident of Alaska.
You're welcome to sit if you'd like to make it easier, or stand, whatever you
I'll just
prefer.
stand closer.
Okay.
I just wanted to reiterate, I know the assembly members have got a pretty heavy workload and have to rely on their staff at times to make decisions. However, in this instance, I think the staff may have made some serious errors in judgment, and I wholeheartedly agree with the motion that my wife put forward, that you reconsider this decision for logging. This isn't really even a logging expedition. It's just cutting down a mature birch forest for firewood. And there's no disease to speak of in this forest. It's a good fire break, a high moisture content compared to the spruce that these loggers have planned to leave, and actually increase the fire danger. Please reconsider and vote your hearts on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Whittor? Susan, Whitor, looks
White tongue. That's me.
Whiten. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Welcome to Willow, Mayor DeVries, Manager Brown, Assembly members, and staff. My name is Susan Whiten, and as a resident of Willow and a member of the Library Association, I stand here to say a loud thank you for our new library. We have been enjoying the new library for over a year, and it is a wonderful place. Our library has always been the heart and social hub of our small community, and the new, bright, and spacious library makes it an even better place to hang out. There is an area for little folk to read with small tables and chairs and colorful artwork on the walls. Teens have their own comfortable sitting area close to the young adult books. Adults can relax near the fireplace with a newspaper or magazine, or adults can work on the computers in the center of the library, which allows them to have a good view of their kids over in the corner. And all people of any ages are invited to work on our always present jigsaw puzzle. In addition to borough support, the new library would not have been possible without the support of many others, including corporations, smaller businesses, foundations, and private individuals. I hope you all had a chance to tour our library before the meeting. And you can see our appreciation permanently exhibited on our donor wall. All the nice artwork from Scott. The new library is busy. Participation in children's story time is growing. Willow Elementary students visit to do research for school projects. The meeting room is used by many groups, including advisory boards, trail committee meetings, local fiber artist meetings, senior coffee socials, computer education, only to mention a few. The library can now host informative and educational meetings for the community. We've already started those. Some of the recent programs have been the Willow Solar Farm, grafting fruit trees, bird rehab center, acrylic painting, and we've got a bird identification class coming up tomorrow. We've got a lot of other programs planned for the coming year. Our business center provides many services not available to at other places, and our computers provide free Wi-Fi to patrons for research, education, and job searches. We also host a seed exchange program that's especially popular this time of year. I just want you to know that Willow loves and uses the new library. We are grateful for the bright, efficient, and organized space, and will treasure our new library for many years to come. Thanks to all who supported this project.
Thank you. Mike, what would you say that is? Oh, I guess he knows who he is. I'm sorry.
Really? Well, no.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mike Fromm.
Oh, okay. Thank
Welcome
you.
to Willow. This is the home of the constituents whose opinions don't matter to you. This is the meeting place of the community council you disrespect by ignoring their input. Last week, you had the opportunity to end the Long Lake Road timber sale. Emerson Kruger stood before you and told you that of the 7 over-the-counter timber sales currently in process in the borough, only this one had generated any public outcry. You had the opportunity to cut your losses, not waste any more resources on what is obviously a bad idea. Take your 6 successes and call out a win. Find more properties like those and leave this one alone. Some of you saw the wisdom of that position, but you elected to kick the can on down the road. Now your staff will spend who knows how much time and money surveying, plotting, planning, finding a buyer. And it will all be a waste. Because no matter how much lipstick you put on a pig, it's still a pig. The next time this issue is on the docket, we will be there, louder and angrier, because it seems our elected officials are perfectly comfortable ignoring what is clearly the consensus of your constituents. You're familiar with that term, right? Constituents. It means the people you work for. And if that fails, we will see you in court, where you can waste even more of the borough's resources defending your decision. Oh, and Alberta is in fact in Canada. If you people read the information given to you before the meeting, you might be able to do your damn job. Thank you.
John Corda?
Hi, good evening. My name is John Cord. I'm the chair of the Talkeetna Community Council. I appreciate you guys coming to the Northern Valley, and I understand the hard work it takes to be in the assembly and how difficult it is to stay informed on so many issues, particularly in regards to creating a budget. I do not have any comments in regards to the budget other than a suggestion that might it be possible to include in the future percentage or comparisons to prior year's budgets so that we can make it easier to see, changes up or down. I would like to comment briefly on 2 issues. One, the gravel ordinance that has refused to die. Our community, like so many others in the borough, is overwhelmingly opposed to changing the current system. It's a clear case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And no one has been able to establish why a change is necessary. In addition, it's an abuse of the public trust to continually try to tweak this issue and jam it through, requiring folks to testify again and again on the same issue. Please listen to your constituents and put this issue to bed once and for all. It's working. Please leave it alone. Comment is in regards to the proposed changes to the water body setback ordinance. Our community is also opposed to any reductions to the current limit of 75 feet and encourage you to leave it as is. If any changes are made, we feel like the well thought out suggestions that were put forth by the Matthew Borough Fish and Wildlife Commission are in the public's interest and merit consideration. That's all I have. Again, I thank you for your time and give the opportunity for us in the Northern Valley to meet you guys face to face.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to testify? You can testify on any subject, so.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Knickerbocker, and I live here in Willow. Most of us who live here in Willow do so because of the peace and quiet. And I'm sure none of my neighbors, and I'm sure most of you guys, wouldn't appreciate somebody bringing a bunch of industrial equipment in and ruining your peace and quiet. This timber sale would do exactly that. Furthermore, besides the industrial equipment, there'd be hundreds of truckloads running up and down Long Lake Road and out to Nancy Lake Road. If that was in your backyard, would you really be in favor of it? So I guess like Mike said, the community's opposed to it. We expect our voices to be listened to, and you probably haven't heard the last from us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, sure. Come, George.
I'm not a resident of Willow, but I am a former assembly member that voted to not spend a lot of money. Okay? And then my question to you is this, as the assembly. Why are you meeting in this building? The borough spent on the borough taxpayer money $401,000 on the log cabin next door, and it was going to be the community center. If anyone doubts that number that I threw out, the finance director is over there. I've talked to her before on it, okay? That's a lot of money on it. And my understanding, it isn't done yet, but it's done enough. We could meet in a place like that, and it looks great from when you look in the windows. If somebody could tell me why we're not meeting there after spending all that money, I'd really like to hear it.
George, would you state your name, please, for the record? Would you state your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, George McKee.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everybody. I wasn't going to speak, Vern Halter from Willow. I wasn't going to speak, but my good friend, George McKee, prompted me to. This is a wonderful facility. My wife is thanking you for our library. We thank you for the renovations you did to this building. This is our community center. This is the proper place to have a big budget hearing for people who come down from all the valley. So thank you. George, the old log building is being renovated. They put walls inside to have all these mounts put in and things like that. It's going to be used for the community museum and things like that. So it has a bright future. So I just wanted to let you know I love George to death. And so thank you.
Hello, Mayor, Assembly. My name is Jake Warden. I'm the secretary for the Waco Board, and I'm also a local business owner. I've lived in Alaska about the last 5 years and Willow the last 2. And I'm here to, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for this building because I play pickleball in it every weeknight except for Wednesdays, and it's a good respite. But I would like to kind of give you guys a different perspective than some of the people that have spoken before on the timber sale, and that there's people that are 27 years old building a life out here as well, and they don't want to see their beautiful old growth forest cut down either. And you know, they talked about going to the courts and things like that, but we'll bring the hippies and chain ourselves to the trees and things like that, so it'll be a little bit more expensive for you. Because I was told here when I moved here, I live up in 83, and you can tell that a fire's come through there in the last 50 years, but over there it hasn't. There's plants and flora and fauna that live there that do not live on this side of the highway because there was a fire that didn't make it that far. And so that forest is beautiful and powerful. And if we want to bring recreational tourism out here, we can't be cutting our trees down. There's plenty of them way over there, way off the highway that people aren't living by. So like I said, you know, for me, this isn't just a community that people are moving out here after they've done their job. There's people out here trying to build a life still, and they don't want to see their trees cut down. So I appreciate all the hard work that you guys do, and I appreciate that we can have this meeting in this building. So thanks for your time.
I could laughingly ask you if next time in a year from now we came, if you would do an expedition on pickleball. We could come early. Yeah. That would certainly put us on the map, wouldn't it? We have the newspaper back there. I'm sure that she can kiddingly write something in the newspaper about it. Anyway, anyone else would like to address the assembly on any subject? Yeah, come on, Doyle.
My name is Doyle Holmes. Thank you for coming to Willow. I wish there would have been a bigger crowd, but they must not have known there was free food, or they'd have been there. I wasn't going to say anything, but I just can't contain myself sometimes. the 75-foot setback change keeps coming up in meetings that I go to, and I would urge you not to pass that. When I first went on the assembly in 1985, was there 3 terms after that, 3.5. But in 1985, we had around 5,000 violations of that 75-foot setback. There was another section of it that made it mandatory that if you subdivided, you had to put a 50-foot public use easement along all bodies of water. So we wanted to change that, but it turned out that we, in fact, take care of most of those violations if we changed the 75 setback. So we changed it to 45 feet. At the time, it was really a brilliant idea of mine. But within a year or less, the people of the valley came up with a petition, put it on the ballot, and passed it, put it back. So I think the same thing's going to happen again. I've found that they were pretty smart at the time. Wished we'd have never done it. The same thing's going to happen again. This time I'll be at the head of the pack, first signature on the petition. So again, I would urge you not to waste your time. A year later, it'll take care of itself. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Doyle. Anyone else?
Tina Owen from Willow. And I just got the email today about this meeting. So I think if that had gone out in an appropriate time beforehand, you'd see a lot more people here. Having the setback closer to building is not good for the environment. And it's not good for our water systems. It's not good for fish. And as far as logging that parcel under there, the last few days, I've been hearing from a lot of different people how upset they were. I did not know that there was going to be this logging going on. It got us to come up here. Fortunately, I knew about the meeting about an hour before the email came out. So I think you're trying to sneak things in on Willow again. And so I just hope you reconsider the logging, and the setbacks need to be even farther away from waterways. So thank you.
Tina, can I ask you a question? What would be the easiest and best way to be in contact with the people up here in order to let them know, like say about the meeting? We are required to advertise it, which I'm sure that we did, but
I certainly didn't know about it until the email came through on Waco today.
can I
Well,
ask?
I heard through the grapevine about an hour earlier today.
Okay, can I ask you, did the email come from the community council or just from a friend? What
Believe
I'm
it
trying to
came
do is
from
so we don't have the,
Waco.
pardon,
I believe it came from Waco.
from the
Willow
community
area.
council. Okay, yeah.
So, and
We-
then this is generally how it goes. It's gone this way for decades with the borough when they're trying to slide something through.
Okay, we
You know,
want to
the
change.
gravel pits, you know, we've all been to Big Lake. We see the mess with the huge gravel pits. So we really don't want that here in Willow either. So I forgot to mention the gravel pits.
Okay. Yeah, but yes, just come forth. We've had numerous discussions on the assembly regarding how we do reach out to people and how we do let you know regarding what's going on. So if you have some suggestions, be sure and say something to us. We do have Facebook page, we have website, but if there's other ways, so let us know, please. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Sandra Knickerbocker. I'm a recently new resident of Willow. We moved up from the lower 48 so that we could be out here in a community that's small and beautiful. And I'd like to ask you a question. What does the borough gain by having this area logged when there's so many people opposed to it? Is it money? Are you going to make enough money to make it worthwhile? Can anybody answer that?
I don't know. It's worthwhile is pretty subjective, so go ahead, finish your testimony, ma'am.
For so many people that are opposed to it, this whole community is opposed to this. And I could understand it if the borough was going to make a lot of money, but nobody can answer that. And it's very upsetting to the whole community to have this beautiful area destroyed by clear-cut logging. A friend of mine and I drove out towards Talkeetna yesterday to, I think it's Yoda Road, where they did some clear-cut logging. There's nothing there, nothing. It's about 8 miles out of town. There's not a home within 5 miles of the distance of this clear-cut logging. It's completely barren, but it doesn't affect anybody because nobody sees it. They might live out there. And the people of Willow really adore this community, and they don't want it ruined by clear-cut logging, especially if there's no monetary gain, and nobody can answer that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor and Assembly, briefly, if I could, just address your question about how we could get the word out better. The Talkeetna Community Council didn't have any knowledge that this was happening. I heard through the grapevine and came down. So I would say, like, at a minimum, if you could look at the schedule and see when the community councils are meeting and get it out to them. We have an assembly person that's basically AWOL for us. He doesn't come to our meetings or communicate with us. And so if you could do that at least, then I think maybe you would have a little bit better participation. Thank you.
Thank you. There was really a violation of our rules. Normally, we don't let somebody testify twice, but this is Willow, right? We'll bend the rules a little bit. Yes, sir. And the other thing I can say is we do have some staff here, so if you do have some questions that, and again, we can't have dialogue back and forth from the assembly, so there is staff here. They will be here, after the meeting also, as well as assembly people. So go ahead, sir.
My name is Rodney McCambridge. I'm a recent transplant from the lower 48, or as I like to call it, the land of clear cutting. I moved here from Oregon. Madam Mayor, assembly members, I've seen a lot of clear cutting and what it does to the roads and not only the land. I used to live in a little area called Medford. Probably heard about it 2 years ago on the news because I was sitting in Anchorage at my daughter's house while the two towns next to me burned through the clear cuts. We lost 2 towns. My wife called me and said they're evacuating our neighborhood. That's always fun. Because wildfires, we've all been through them. You know how much fun they are. You know how much damage they do. And the root of the problem was the clear cuts. Because they left all the junk, they left the slag, they get water, and it burned. It burned across. Seeing somebody who was wearing a Department of Transportation jacket. How hot does it have to be to burn asphalt? That's what it did. It burned guardrails. Now you want to clear cut an area that is really no monetary value, because if you're going to sell it for what I've heard through the rumors, that it's going to be firewood, what are you going to make? And again, I come from the land of clear cutting. I know what environmental lawyers charge and how much they are willing to spend. I've seen your budget. Do you want to waste all of that on attorney? That's what you have to think about. And then speaking to the person wearing an ODOT, a Department of Transportation jacket, who's going to fix the road? Because all those trucks and the machinery going up and down that road are going to tear it up. Who's going to fix it? Who's going to pay for the property values? Who's going to pay for the fire insurance? Because if you start clear cutting that and you have people who are backed up to it and there's no buffer, they're going to lose their homeowner's insurance. Now, are you guys going to pay for that? Because Oh, if I don't have home insurance and fire insurance on my property, the bank will call my loan. Now, if you have that kind of money to start doling out to people to buy their mortgages out because they're going to lose their homes, then clear cut all you want. But you're making a mistake clear cutting old growth. So that's all I wanted to tell you. And I thank you for my time.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Come.
My name is James Carr, and I'm opposed to the timber sale. I actually live kitty corner to where the lot that is going to be cut down. I'm a lifelong Alaskan, and I've seen some areas get decimated by fires and by clear cutting. Obviously, they're both ugly, but my wife and I just recently bought a property out here a year ago. And the last thing we thought we would see was, the lot next to us getting clear cut. I think there's a lot more options. I mean, I don't know how many acres the borough owns, but I'm sure there are other flat lots that not everybody in the surrounding area is going to get clear cut. The terrain change on top of just being able to see it, and the erosion. I don't know if anybody's dug in the soil out here. I mean, it's not all gravel. There's a lot of glacial till, and the erosion is ridiculous when you start disturbing that vegetative mat. I know that they said they might come in the winter, but if you take down a bunch of trees, it's gonna erode, especially on steep slopes. So just want to kind of reiterate what some of the other things that other people have said, and I hope that you guys will reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Assembly. I'm Trig Erickson. I'm the chairman of the Willow Area Community Organization. Just sort of reiterate what my neighbors have been saying, and I hope the Assembly is not surprised at the strong feeling regarding both the logging and the gravel extraction. At our last Waco meeting, which was the annual meeting, which was attended by over 30 people, we approved unanimously 2 resolutions. And I should say that the unanimous approval was not pro forma. It was in fact heavily debated. Those 2 resolutions, unanimously approved, were in opposition to both the logging along Long Lake Road and the gravel extraction. So I hope you're not surprised, and thank you for coming. And I hope you will take the advice and forward a motion for reconsideration on the logging.
Madam Mayor, can we clarify, several people have brought up, I know it's not a question and answer, but this reconsideration idea, could we maybe clarify through the clerk that whether reconsideration can happen at the next meeting and through staff that when this issue will come up again for those who are here?
Go ahead.
Through the mayor to Assembly Member Nowers, it is too late for the Assembly to reconsider. There are other options such as rescind, should somebody want to do that, or new legislation. Reconsideration, however, is too late.
And can we also clarify the sale itself would come before us again in the future before any logging would go forward?
Hi, Eric Phillips, Community Development Director. Yes, Assemblyman Nowers, that's true. Before the, first we got to find out if we get any bidders. If we get a bidder, then it comes back before Assembly to approve the bid award.
I appreciate it.
Through the mayor, quick question for yourself. So just help me understand the process a little bit, because most of these have been approved, like the community said, without anybody coming in per se to talk. So you're talking about if you get a bidder, but does it even go out to bid before you do the research, or do you do research on the property? I understand you guys can't do a lot of research without our permission to begin the process, which we gave you, right? So do you now turn around and do all of that research before you even put it out to bid? Or do you put it out to bid first while you're doing that simultaneously? Just
It's
help me
kind of-
understand.
They kind of run concurrently.
Concurrently, okay. It just helps me understand better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Anyone else that would like to participate in audience participation? Let's see, we don't have online, do we? No. Okay, I'm ready. So I'll go ahead. One last chance. Anyone?
I do have one question.
Okay, come forth, please.
This is my second time.
I know. We're being flexible tonight. Don't ever say your government's not flexible, okay?
What would it take to rescind this? What does it take for you to do to rescind this, like this lady suggested? Do we know?
Yeah, go ahead. The clerk, I think, mentioned it, but let her go ahead and restate it.
It would take an assembly member asking for rescission of the resolution. It would take time to advertise. It could not be done by the first meeting in May. If it was even to come forward, the earliest it could be would be May 16th.
Okay, so one of you people have to ask for it to be rescinded, is that the idea?
Correct, to place it on the agenda,
And it
correct.
would be passed on to the next meeting on May 16th?
It wouldn't be able to be on the agenda until May 16th, correct.
So, okay, thank you. That clarifies it. So if it's rescinded, if somebody requests it rescinded, then what happens?
Then it would go on the agenda.
Yes.
It would be under, you'd still be, members of the public would be able to speak under audience participation. And then it would take 4 votes to rescind something the assembly's previously adopted.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. So we'll see you May 16th.
Oh, yes, Assemblyperson McKee, go ahead.
So how long does a person have, one of us, have to wait to make this move? Could we do it tonight?
You couldn't make the motion tonight.
Okay.
You could direct us to put it on the agenda, but you can't make the motion to rescind that resolution until it's actually publicly advertised.
Cool. So can I ask you to put it on the agenda?
You can.
Thank you.
The question about resending it would have to be under the assembly comments at the end, because we're still in audience participation at this time. So when you make your closing comments tonight, then if you're interested in doing that, or any of the assembly is, that would be the time to direct staff. Okay, all right. Did someone down there have your assembly person here? Go
I
ahead.
think my question was answered. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Mr. Attorney, do you have your hand up? Okay. Okay, we want to be sure if you had input, that we wanted to be sure to hear it. Okay, so one last chance then for audience participation before I close. Okay, audience participation is closed. The next item on our agenda is items of business, and we have a public hearing. Madam Clerk?
Ordinance serial number 23023, an ordinance appropriating monies from the central treasury for the borough operating funds, enterprise funds, education operating fund, and capital funds, establishing the rate of levy for all borough functions for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023, and ending June 30th, 2024, and setting the surcharge rate for the wireline and wireless enhanced 911 systems for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. At this public hearing, the only testimony we will entertain is on this ordinance, which has to do with the budget for the coming year. So if you'd like to talk about the budget for the borough for the coming year, you're welcome to testify at this time. Okay, we do not have anybody signed up, but is there anybody that wants to say anything? Okay, Deputy Mayor?
I move to continue the public hearing on ordinance 23-023 to Thursday, April 27th, 2023, 6 PM at the Menard Sports Complex in Wasilla.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion to continue the public hearing on the budget to Thursday night at the Menard Center? Okay, is there any objection? Okay, hearing no objection, then the public hearing is continued to Thursday, April 27th, 2023, and that meeting will be in Wasilla at the Menard Center. Now we are to mayor, assembly, and staff comments. So Assemblyperson McKee, I will recognize you for a comment.
I'm going to have to ask you to tell me what I'm supposed to say here because I don't. All I know is I want to get it done and I want these people to get what they need and want. And I need to know the language that will do that.
I got it.
Okay?
Further comments? Dee, do you have further comment?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I just
all
want to
right.
make sure that I did this and said it properly so it will move forward. If I did, then I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to say about anything. Okay. Assemblyperson 2, comments? No? Borough manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just want to say thank you to the crowd. Like I always appreciate the hospitality when we come to Willow, even if maybe there's some contention around an item that's on the agenda or something. So I appreciate the hospitality and it's great to see some familiar faces.
Okay. Mr. Attorney, parting comments?
Yeah, just echo what the manager said. I think this is about the 15th year in a row we've been up here, and it's always good to come up, and congratulations on the library. That's it.
Assemblyperson Hale?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It's really good to see everybody. Great facility you got here that, like George pointed out, we've been spending a lot of money on over the last several years, and I'm glad that it turned out to be such a gem. So I'm home from the slope for the summer. The season's over, so expect to be seeing a lot more of me in person at the meetings, and thanks for putting up with my work schedule.
Assemblyperson Fano? Parting comments?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the food. The ladies that helped us serve there, they're just so polite and nice, and I just want to personally thank you for that. And thank you to everybody else.
Assemblyperson Hours, parting comments?
Just wanted to add to that. Thank you for hosting us up here. I'm glad you've got this facility for the community. On how we get the word out, I think we have talked about this a lot and we're still trying to figure it out, but we're in the old ages where everybody used to read the newspaper and watch 3 channels of television, and it's now everybody's all over the place. So how we get the word out so people know and can participate, and also how we write up our agenda so you know what's going on. And there's a lot of twists and turns to this government process, which is why I asked that question tonight to say, what is the process if you want this decision changed, or how do you give input? I will say, just for the record, if you ever have a question like that, our borough clerk is fabulous and she will help you navigate that. But I know I have found, as an individual who's appeared before the borough and now on the assembly, knowing what the process is, and so you can be effective in how you comment, that you're asking for the right thing that you want to ask for and advocating for that. So if there's ever a question like that, you can always call an assembly member, but also the clerk. And I just reiterate that because not everybody knows that. It's something I learned as a resident out here, and I just try to get that out because government can be difficult to navigate. And if you know what you're asking for, that's part of the key. So, and if you have any suggestions for how we get the word better out in an effective way that you hear it, you don't have to go find it on Facebook or whatever. Let us know.
Deputy Mayor, parting comments?
Yeah, a couple things. So I'm a big note taker. It looks like bird scratch to most people, but that was one of the things that that I had on there was, I feel like this is only my third time out here. This is by far my favorite budget meeting. You guys are so hospitable. Everybody's so kind. There's always food. It's an awesome place to be. Everybody's involved in their community. There's more people here at this one than there'll be at the Menard Center with way more population there. So, and that's my district, and I'm not afraid to say that. So there probably won't be anybody there, or very few. So, but anyway, yeah, how do we get the word out? I feel like we know the date that this meeting's going to be, like right at the beginning of budget season. So that's something we'll all take into consideration and try to put together some ideas on how we can get out there sooner. But because that would be a good way to go. So my last note on here was to ask Lonnie after the meeting about how our rescinding works, or rescinding legislation. Thank you, Ms. McKee, for doing that during the meeting. I've not seen one in my 3 years. I've never seen that, so it's good to learn that. I do think it's something we should absolutely do. You guys got to understand, right? We went a solid decade without really doing any logging anywhere in the borough, and that created a problem as well. But on the other side of it, there's 6 or 7 other sites being used maybe right now that didn't have the vested interest that this one has. And I'm sure there's plenty of others that could replace this one. So that's something that we should all work with the staff on, or talk to the manager about, and let the staff do just that and recommend some other ideas. So I'm sure we'll do just that. And whether it's rescinding it or whether it's something as simple as just having a talk with the staff. But I do appreciate everybody coming out. A lot of great comments. I got a lot of good notes to take back to the office with. Very much.
Madam Clerk,
Just to answer a little bit too, very quickly in reference to rescinding, it's pretty simple. As long as a contract hasn't already been awarded, and it doesn't sound like that has occurred, then all the management's on notice that a rescission's coming forward, so no contract should be signed. It's an easy motion. You move to rescind it, and then you vote. You debate it, and then you vote. And then I would like to also thank the ladies for all the food and all the hard work you guys did. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And then Toasted Joe's is the people that gave us the coffee. They're over by Polaris. I'd like to thank them. And then we do have 2 people from the school district here that did the sound for us tonight and is recording the meeting. So I'd like to thank them. And then one more thing for the assembly. I don't know if everybody's aware, but Deb Weatherhorn in my office is retiring. Her last day is Friday. We are going to be doing a surprise cake for her about 1 o'clock on Friday. So you guys are all welcome to attend. We did move Estelle Louise up into that position. So now our front counter position will be open. But that's it.
Okay, thank you. As you all know, you can't believe everything that you hear on Facebook, but I did read this afternoon an announcement that we have in our midst tonight, the Teacher Educator of the Year, Assemblyperson McKee. We want to congratulate you. I know it was just a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago, you were BP Teacher of the Year. And so this is very fitting for your leaving the school. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
I thank you for that. It came as an enormous shock to me last night, so I didn't know that was in the works. And I just guess that I feel that maybe I did something right all this time. And some people think that I'm a real hard case, and I am, and I own that, because these kids they are worth it. These kids are worth it. Whatever we can do to get them where they need to be, you give it everything you got. And I don't do this very well, so thank you.
You're welcome. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting. And again, thank you all for coming, and thanks for the food. And if people have Kleenexes, they can drop them off for Assemblyperson McKee.